Oscar guy here. Help. Yet again. Help. I say it every year. Every year I seem to say, oh, this year's crazy. It's so unpredictable. It's absolute chaos. Compared to last year, bro. Bro, compared to last year was a cakewalk compared to this. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. But here we are, and we got to do it. And yeah, these are going to be my final Oscar predictions. I'm going to go through each category. We're going to talk about them. Not going to spend too much time, but I got to hash some things out because yeah, yeah, it's pretty nuts. I would say 12 of the categories are locks, and that's about half of the categories because as you know, we have a new category this year in best casting. So no, now we have 24 instead of 23. Half of 24 is 12 if you're familiar with the subject of maths. Um, so I think about half the categories are locks. Okay? Another 6 categories are not locks, but they're pretty solidified, if you ask me. There could be possible upsets, but they're pretty solidified. Then there's the 6 other categories that I think are complete and utter chaos. So, all things considered, if I get half the categories correctly and the other 6 that are mostly solidified correctly, that means I will be 18 for 24, which is pretty much on par with last year, and I will take that. Then there's the chaos categories, right? So, I don't know, man. I feel kind of good, but I'm still I mean, I don't know if you can feel good predicting in every category this year because it's pretty insane. It is pretty insane. Um, yeah. And a lot of the uncertain categories are above the line this year, so that's great. Um, I think we should just get into it. We're going to be going through my predictions and my personal picks in each category as well. Without wasting any more time, let's just get right into it. From the top, we have Best Picture. Now, clearly, this is between One Battle and Sinners. No other film in the 10 has even close to a chance of winning. Um, One Battle has won absolutely everything it needs to. Please ignore this. This should be gold in my spreadsheet. But it has won essentially everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. The only place it missed is SAG Ensemble, and that's technically not a picture prize. But it has cleaned house all season long. Early season, mid season, late season. It is just unstoppable. That being said, there's something brewing for Sinners right now, especially after the Actor Awards at SAG. Um, and of course, the Actor Awards took place right during Oscar voting. Sinners won SAG Ensemble, and Michael B. Jordan won Actor at the Actor Awards, and Wunmi Musaku won BAFTA. Delroy Lindo got nominated at the Oscars. So there's something brewing for Sinners. There's something brewing. And I can see a possible major upset happen in Best Picture. I'm thinking it's maybe a 5% chance. Some people were even saying it's a 50-50 coin flip, which that seems crazy to me, even with all the stats involved. Stat-wise, everything's pointing to One Battle. But as far as momentum and passion, I will say there is something brewing for Sinners. I'm not saying it's going to win Best Picture. It might, very slim chance, but I'm not saying it's impossible. Okay? I'm still predicting One Battle. This also has a lot to do with what you're predicting in other categories. If you're predicting, Michael B. Jordan, Wunmi Musaku, possibly upsetting in some technical categories. Some people were even predicting Delroy Lindo to pull off a Marcia Gay Harden-esque lone win this season. I don't see that being impossible. So it really depends on what your package is for Sinners. For me personally, I think it's still going to be One Battle. If Sinners does win, I will be very shocked, but I will say that I didn't see it coming. So Sinners has a chance to upset, but I'm going to go with One Battle. It is also my personal pick in the category, my second favorite film of the year. If you haven't seen my latest podcast episode, by the way, I go over my top 10 films of the year, and it is my number 2. If you want to find out what my number 1 is, go check that video out. But yeah, One Battle. My probably my second favorite in the category is The Secret Agent. But yeah, that's picture. Let's move on to director. We don't need to really discuss this. I think it's PTA. Even if you're predicting Sinners to win Best Picture, PTA, the sweep that PTA has had this season is even stronger than the One Battle picture sweep. So, I mean, Ryan Coogler is certainly a number 2, but I really don't see Ryan Coogler pulling a Bong Joon-ho this year. I think this is PTA's year. This is going to be one of his possibly 3 Oscars. He's walking away with this, if you ask me. So he is my prediction, and he is also my personal pick. All of these directors do great work. Chloe Zhao, Josh Safdie, Joachim Trier, Ryan Coogler, all wonderful work. Who should be nominated here is Jafar Panahi, if you ask me. But that's neither here nor there. PTA is my pick and personal prediction. Best actress, gotta be Buckley, right? Gotta be Buckley. She is the only acting sweeper all year long. You can't say that she did a clean sweep because, of course, they split the Golden Globes categories, and Rose Byrne did win Golden Globe for comedy. Rose Byrne also did very well in the preseason with NBR, NYF, and LAF as well, and a good tallies for precursor wins as well. But it's got to be Buckley. She has won absolutely everything. Cat controversy, whatever aside, throw that in the garbage. The Bride getting panned in theaters right now, throw that in the garbage because it came out a day after Oscar voting ended. That has nothing to do with her Oscar chances. She's winning. My personal pick in the category. This is a fairly good category. I wish Chase Infinity was here. Over maybe Kate Hudson, who is fine in Song Song Blue. And Emma Stone, it was great in Begonia. Rose Byrne is incredible in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. And that is a lot of people's personal picks as well. But for my personal pick, I'm going to go with Renate Reinsve in Sentimental Value. I think she gives probably the most raw, well, I don't know about raw, but like one of the most understated and nuanced and layered performances in this category. I've talked about it on my last podcast episode, but the level of depth she brings in her character, how she refuses to portray her emotions and bottle everything up. You can easily tell that she's doing that, and she pulls it off magnificently. And it's just it hits a nerve that is just like, I don't know. And she is wonderful. She's fantastic. She's my personal pick in the category. And Buckley is my prediction. Moving on from there, Best Actor. All right, here we go. Now, I am predicting Michael B. Jordan. I was predicting Wagner Moura up until a couple days ago. But I switched. Well, let's talk about the race. Let's talk about the race first, okay? So, Timothée Chalamet, early on, was doing very well. He won Critics' Choice. He won Golden Globe Comedy. That was earlier in the season, right? Then BAFTA happens, and they went ahead and gave it to Robert Aramayo. To make everything hard for us, they gave it to Robert Aramayo for I Swear at BAFTA, beating out 4 of the 5 Oscar nominees. So thanks, BAFTA, for that. I hear he's great in the film. So Timmy lost that award. SAG had a Sinners party. They gave Sinners SAG Ensemble. And I think I was predicting Chalamet still for the actor award. But I was like, okay, B. Jordan, if Michael B. Jordan's going to win anywhere, it's going to be here. So, of course, Michael B. Jordan won for Sinners. So I'm like, okay, well, Timmy, it's not looking good for you, bud. The momentum is just dying for you. You know, the whole controversy with the ballet and opera thing, again, just like Jesse Buckley, all that controversy happened a day after the Oscar voting ended. So really, ideally, that does not affect his Oscar chances. But his awards strategy and awards campaigning this year has not been everybody's cup of tea. He's been kind of very boastful and very cocky and very like, oh, I deserve this. I'm having such a wonderful career, being very self-congratulatory. And he's a young actor, and I have a feeling that the Academy is going to be like, you know what, give it some time, bud. We'll award you one day, but not this time. So I think that is brewing for him against his favor. He could still win. I'm not saying it's impossible. He could still very well win, but Marty Supreme is just very weak right now. I don't think it's going to win any Oscars, even with its 9 nominations. Um, Comparatively to One Battle and Sinners, it's hanging on by a thread, if that. So I'm not predicting Chalamet anymore. So then, what else do we have? We have Wagner Moura, who won Golden Globe for drama, missed at SAG, didn't make the BAFTA long list. What the hell is that? He has the same exact package as Fernando Torres last year, also a Brazilian, also in a Brazilian film. And he has been campaigning very hard and very well, right? So his chances are not zero either. But like I said, I was predicting him because I feel like, I don't know, it feels like something that the Academy could do, which is award that performance instead of maybe Michael B. Jordan's performance as far as the performance merit is concerned. Maybe. Plus, there's the international voting body that could go for Moura over B. Jordan as well. But I'm not predicting The Secret Agent to win International Feature. Spoiler alert. That could also happen, but I'm not personally predicting that. I'm predicting Sentimental Value. So it didn't really make sense for me to predict Wagner Moura if I'm not predicting The Secret Agent to win International. So that combined with the pure passion for Sinners and the reaction of the Actors Guild when Michael B. Jordan won at the Actor Awards. Viola Davis's reaction to it, the crowd's reaction to it, it was an uproar of passion for him at that ceremony during Oscar voting, and the biggest voting body at the Academy are actors. Will that outweigh the international voters? I think so. I think so. As far as the acting categories are concerned. So I'm making a switch. I'm not predicting Sinners for Best Picture, but I am going to predict Michael B. Jordan for the actor, Best Actor. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's my logic there. I'm not saying Timmy doesn't have a chance anymore. He could very well upset. Wagner Moura, I think, is less likely, although I would love to see that because he is my personal pick in the category. As much as I love all of these performances, Timmy, Leo, B. Jordan, Ethan Hawke gives a fantastic performance in Blue Moon, which is like an okay film, if you ask me. But he crushes it in Blue Moon. And some people think that, like, what the hell? Why hasn't he won anything in the late season? But I'm saying that all these performances are great. If you ask me, I think Jesse Plemons should be here. But it is what it is. I'm going to go with Michael B. Jordan for my prediction. My personal pick is Wagner Moura. Again, the most understated performance. A lot of depth, a lot of layers. He doesn't really carry the film because the cast is also incredible in that film. I don't know. He's my personal pick. He's great. All right, so let's get to the supporting categories. Before we get to supporting actress, and I have a freaking aneurysm, we're going to go to supporting actor first. Okay, so of the two supporting categories, I think this one's the easier one. Sean Penn, I think, has got this. On a stats level, I think it's pretty solidified. He isn't campaigning, deliberately, you know. He didn't show up at BAFTA and he didn't show up at SAG. And guess what happened at BAFTA and SAG? He won. He won at both BAFTA and SAG. Okay? And it's crazy because this race has been very interesting. Because early in the season, even before the season started, when One Battle came out, and we saw One Battle after another, and we saw Sean Penn in that film, we were like, okay, well, that's going to win an Oscar, right? Like, he's easily an Oscar frontrunner, right? Like, he's crazy good in that film. He's almost on the level of Javier Bardem in No Country, Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Bastards. If you ask me, he's not quite there, but he's close. He's close enough. He is wonderful in the film. He is. I think he might be an all-timer as far as villainous performances in this century is concerned. And he's great. Then the awards season started happening, and then Benicio del Toro was cleaning house with the critics groups. And he won NBR, and he won NYF for supporting actor. So it's like, okay, so now is he the guy? The more grounded performance, not as much screen time, not as showy, but he brings this vibe to the movie that completely grounds the film in a very unique way. Not every actor can do that. And he's great, unquestionably, in a much different way than Sean Penn's performance. So we were like, okay, well, maybe Benicio's going to win, right? Then we had Critics' Choice. Those mamma jammas, they gave it to E. Lordy for Frankenstein, which I don't know if anybody was predicting that. It could have been a vote splitting thing or something. I have no idea what happened to Critics' Choice, but they gave him Critics' Choice. I think that's a one-off. Golden Globes, who happen to be very different from the Oscars nowadays, they gave it to Stellan Skarsgård over both One Battle Boys. Okay? So there's that. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe Sean Penn's thing is not going to happen, right? Then BAFTA comes along. People were like, okay, well, Stellan won Golden Globes, so maybe the international voters will recognize that and be like, hey, let's award him again at BAFTA. Nope, Sean Penn. Okay, well, now we're back where we started. We weren't wrong all along. It's just it started here, and then it went here, and then now we're back at Sean Penn. Okay, cool. So BAFTA. He won at BAFTA. He won at SAG. He wasn't at those ceremonies. One Battle's killing it. I think it's going to be Sean Penn. However, we got this guy. Who made the BAFTA long list and didn't get anywhere else. If you're predicting Sinners for Best Picture, you might want to predict at least one, if not two, or three actors to win an Oscar on Oscar night. B. Jordan, Wunmi Mosaku, and some people are predicting Delroy Lindo to win. That would be amazing, because he is my personal pick in the category. As much as I love Sean Penn in One Battle, just because Delroy Lindo has not gotten any love this award season until the Oscar nominations, I am on his side. He is incredible in the film. He should have been nominated everywhere else, if you ask me. So if he does win, I will jump out of my seat and run around my apartment. I'm not saying it's impossible. I think it could be possible, especially if Sinners has a great night on Oscar night. Then again, no actor has won an Oscar in either supporting actress and supporting actor. I think the only time an actor has won in this category without being nominated anywhere else is Marcia Gay Harden for Pollock, which was in 2002 or 2003 or something like that. So it's been over 20 years since it's happened. But it happened. And Pollock wasn't even in Best Picture. So if momentum for Sinners is this strong, and he is he's coming along with the movie. He did the speech at the Actor Awards when it won SAG Ensemble. He is the spokesperson for that film. He is front and center on the awards campaign. I can see it happening. I'm not predicting it. If you want to predict it, I'm not. I mean, I might call you a little crazy, but you're not insane for doing it. I can see it happening. But I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to go with the stats. And I'm going to say Sean Penn to win supporting actor here. Can Stellan win? I don't think so. A lone Golden Globe win does not fare well for any acting category. It's happened, but it hasn't happened nearly enough for me to be convinced. And Cinema Value, if I'm being honest, has lost some steam as well. It's probably going to win International Feature anyway, but as far as the other categories are concerned, acting categories especially, it doesn't have that passion or love that then the two frontrunners, One Battle and Sinners, does. So I can't predict that. Elordi, I think, is a long shot. Benicio del Toro, certainly a long shot. So that's supporting actor. Predicting Sean Penn, personal pick Delroy Lindo. Moving on. God help us. God help us with this category. God. You hear me, God? You hear me, God? Help. Supporting actress. Okay, so I've gone back and forth here. I thought I would never see the day where I am predicting Amy Madigan to win the Oscar for Weapons. I have been an Amy Madigan denier all season long. I came on board the train when she started winning. Not when she started winning the critics groups, but once she won at Critics' Choice, I was like, okay, all right. And she started getting nominated everywhere. I'm like, all right, I'm on board now. I'm not gonna predict her, but I'm on board. Then she won SAG. Well, before that, who won BAFTA? Wunmi Mosaku won BAFTA. Now, is that because of Sinners and that film strength? Or is it because the BAFTA voting body loves their Brits? Wunmi Mosaku is British, and maybe they gave her the award for her for that. I don't know. It's hard to say. I want to say it's because it's a combination of both, right? And whoever wins at BAFTA has a much stronger chance to possibly win at the Oscars, more so than winning at Golden Globe, and especially after you win a Critics' Choice. So chances for her are very strong as well. Tiana Taylor, in another possible Best Picture winner, only won Globe, but going back to Stellan Skarsgård, winning the Oscar with only Globe, stat-wise, is very risky. But if One Battle wins Best Picture, maybe she can still pull something off. One Battle After Another and Sinners have a ton of Oscar nominations. Sinners has 16 Oscar nominations. One Battle has 13 Oscar nominations. What does that add up to, James? 29. A combined total of 29 Oscar nominations, in comparison to one Oscar nomination for Weapons, Amy Madigan. Amy Madigan won Critics' Choice, and she won SAG. Of course she won SAG, because SAG, they love showier performances, narratives. Amy Madigan checks all those boxes, right? So what the hell how do we do for the Oscar, right? What the hell do we do? Are people really going to predict Amy Madigan to win for the sole nominee for Weapons against Tiana Taylor and Wunmi Mosaku, both in Best Picture frontrunners with a combined total of 29 Oscar nominations? Stat-wise, it doesn't make sense at all. But Weapons, even though it only has one nomination, it did very well at the Guilds. It got into PGA. It didn't get into Best Picture at the Oscars, but it got into PGA. It did very well at SAG. Well, I mean, well, with Amy Madigan won SAG. There's some other guilds that it got into that I can't remember right now. I think it got into screenplay and let's check. Let's check. I can't say that for sure without being wrong. Not cinematography, best casting. What else did it get into? I think original screenplay. Sorry, we're spoiling it a little bit. We're spoiling it a little bit. Weapons is okay. So yeah, weapons did get into the WGA. It got into PGA. Um, Makeup and hair. Did that get in the precursors? It did. It did. It got into a lot of makeup and hair. So okay. I think I've made my point. It did very well in the guilds, in PGA, in WGA, and she won the SAG award. Okay, so I want to say it was very close to some Oscar nominations, but it just missed. It was too competitive in the other categories. There is industry love for this film, and there's even more industry love for Amy Madigan and for her performance in Weapons, unquestionably. I've heard through the grapevine that Oscar voters who have not even seen Weapons still love Amy Madigan and the performance that she gives as much as they as much as they've seen it. Um, the word of mouth is great. The momentum is fantastic. It makes sense because it's a showy performance. Wunmi Musaku and Tiana Taylor, as great as their performances are, they don't have a lot of. Well, here's the thing: Amy Madigan has the least amount of screen time between those three actresses, but it is Oscar clip after Oscar clip after Oscar clip. Tiana Taylor and Wunmi Musaku don't really have a lot going on as far as their like showiness, I guess. As great as they are, Tiana Taylor, she's only in the movie for maybe the first 20 or 30 minutes, but her presence is felt throughout the film. Wunmi Musaku is great in the film, but she doesn't really do enough. Amy Madigan, in some ways, is Weapons. That is what people talk about after seeing the movie. Like, she is clearly a standout in that film. Um, Again, it's a horror film. It only has one Oscar nomination. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm predicting Amy Madigan. I just am. And I've been switching around. At first, I was predicting Tiana Taylor. Then I switched to Wunmi Musaku until like just today. I was very confident in Wunmi Musaku because she has that BAFTA win and she's in Sinners. Enough said. But I've heard other opinions and other people talking about it and other people's predictions, and Amy Madigan, while it doesn't really make statistical sense as far as the word of mouth and the momentum and the love for her performance and her career, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with Amy Madigan. And that's crazy to say, for me to say that right now. But man, what else am I going to do? What else am I going to do? I feel like it's literally a three-way tie. Well, I think Tiana Taylor might be the least likely. Watch her win now. But yeah, that's my thinking in supporting actress. It's very tough. Godspeed to everybody predicting in this category. This is more than a bloodbath. This is a blood ocean. Shout out to Death Clock. This is a blood ocean of a category this year. So Godspeed. Good luck with your prediction. I'm going with Amy Madigan. Tiana Taylor, I think is my personal pick. Every time I watch that film, I'm in awe of her presence and her performance in that film. As short as it is, as brief as it is, she does a lot of great work in that film. Everybody else in this category is great. Two Sentimental Value girls. They're gasping for air right now. They are. I mean, Elle Fanning barely got nominated. Inga Ibsdottir-Lilias should have won at least one award, I think, this season. They're all great. All these performances are great. but I'm going to go with Amy Madigan for my prediction. Personal pick, Tiana Taylor. Good Lord, let's take a break. Let's take a break. Okay. Original screenplay. Sinners. I mean, look. Look. Sinners has cleaned house. Won NBR, Critics' Choice, BAFTA, WGA. It's winning the Oscar. No question. Lost the Golden Globe to, I believe, One Battle, I think. But yeah, Sinners. We don't even really need to talk about this. Sinners is walking away with this, absolutely. My personal pick in the category, I'm gonna throw one to It Was Just an Accident. My number 6 favorite film of the year. My other than Sentimental Value, I think it is my favorite film in this category. I like Sentimental Value just a little bit more, but Accident is a fantastic film. Should have gotten into way more categories. Should have gotten into Best Picture and Best Director. It lost a lot of steam later on in the season for whatever reason. Um, the international feature category this year is just so competitive, so incredibly competitive, and it was just on the chopping block. That and no other choice. Gone, gone. Um, so I'm gonna throw a bone to Accident, an original screenplay. Great screenplay, beautifully written, uh, harrowing, very thought provoking. Juggles comedic elements as well as very, very serious topics. Um, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant film. So I'm going to go with that. The other screenplays here are great. Sentimental Value, wonderful screenplay. Uh, Marty Supreme's screenplay, pretty good. I think there's a lot of improvisation in it. Maybe I'm wrong. Very verbose. But yeah, it was a good screenplay. Talk about verbose. Blue Moon. That is the rightiest screenplay. Um, and there's parts of it that I do like. There's some, little one-liners here and there in the screenplay that is very good, very clever. But it is very talky, very play-like in that regard. It's hit or miss for me, Blue Moon screenplay. But I'm more impressed by the amount of lines that Ethan Hawke had to memorize. It's pretty, it's pretty astounding. Um, I think Sorry Baby should have been nominated if you ask me, but it is what it is. Let's move on. Best Adapted Screenplay. I don't even know if we need to talk about this. Look, just look. One Battle, 42 precursor tallies. It won at every major precursor. If One Battle is going to win any Oscar, it's going to be Adapted Screenplay. No other film has even close to a shot to win. It's going to be One Battle. It's also my personal pick in the category. No ifs, ands, or buts. My second favorite screenplay in the category, probably Begonia. Great screenplay, wonderful screenplay. Very unique adaptation from a South Korean film. Very good screenplay. But yeah, One Battle, my prediction, personal pick. Let's move on. Animated feature. K-pop's winning this, right? This is also going to be a sweeper. It is a sweeper. It won everywhere it needs to. It swept at the Annies. It won PGA. It wasn't eligible at BAFTA because of some theatrical run disqualifications. Even won Ace Eddie. It's just crushing it. It's gonna win. No other film has even close to a shot. Zootopia 2 did win at BAFTA. So if you want to say that's in second place, sure, but it's going to be K-pop. It's going to be K-pop, no question. I liked K-pop. I liked Zootopia 2 even more. Sorry to the K-pop stands. But my personal favorite in the category is Arco. Arco rips. Arco was fantastic. I absolutely loved Arco. It even just barely made my top 10. I think it's like number 12 for me. It's so good. It's so good. I did not expect to like it that much. So if you haven't seen Arco, please do. Little Amelie, also a very good film. Also a very good film. I didn't get a chance to see Elio, but it's a good category. In general, this is a very good category this year, but K-pop is walking away with this one. Next. International feature. Okay, so things are interesting. Things are very interesting in this category. So I think it is between these two films, Secret Agent and Sentimental Value. Sentimental Value has 9 Oscar nominations. Secret Agent has 4 Oscar nominations. Both films are in Best Picture. Both films have acting nominations. Sentimental Value has 4 acting nominations. Secret Agent has 1 acting nomination and Best Casting. Can't forget about that. Secret Agent won both New York and LA. It won at Critics' Choice, and it won a Golden Globe. Lost the BAFTA to Sentimental Value. Secret Agent, I think, was nominated for Screenplay at BAFTA. Wagner Moura wasn't longlisted. Riddle me that. So it's kind of a tight race. It's kind of a tight race. So you could either go the stats route and go with Sentimental Value, which on paper, that seems to be the obvious winner because of its nomination package and its acting nomination package especially, and it's in Best Director, and that BAFTA win. Like, why wouldn't that win? Well, Secret Agent has also cleaned house a little bit, especially early in the season. It's in Best Picture. Wagner Moura is in Best Actor. They're campaigning it very well. It really is tough. It really is tough. But if you want to say that Secret Agent has more momentum and more passion right now than Sentimental Value, you wouldn't be wrong. Because it does. There's a lot of love out there for Secret Agent, especially right now during and after Oscar voting. So if you're predicting Secret Agent, I'm not going to call you crazy at all. At all. It could very well happen. In fact, I would love to see it happen. I do like it a little bit more than Sentimental Value. But I'm going to lean on stats for this category. I'm going to go with Sentimental Value. But Secret Agent could very well do an upset here. Now, I'm Still Here, also a Brazilian film, won in this category last year over Emilia Perez. But you can't really compare Sentimental Value to Emilia Perez last year. Sure, Emilia Perez got more Oscar nominations, but there were no controversies. There's no controversies against Sentimental Value. Even you can't even compare that in that regard to Emilia Perez last year. So that's a completely different situation than last year. Plus, Brazil winning back-to-back Oscars for international feature. Has that ever happened? If it has, it hasn't happened nearly as much for me to be confident in saying, oh, Brazil's just going to win back-to-back international feature Oscars. I don't know. I have doubts about that. Again, stats-wise. If you want to throw stats out the window, so be it. In some categories, in some cases, that pays off. So if you predict Secret Agent and it ends up winning, it will pay off for you, and I will be very happy either way. But I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to go with Sentimental Value. My personal pick, however, as much as I love those films, and as much as I love all of these films, Surratt, dude. Surratt blew me away. It's my personal pick in the category. I've seen it twice already. And it doesn't work for everybody. Again, I've talked about it in my latest podcast episode where I talk about my top 10 of the year. It's my number 3 of the year. I absolutely loved it. It is not an easy watch. It's very harrowing. It's very dark. It is, after you see it, you're going to be in recovery mode for a little bit. But the way it's presented and its style, its vibe, it is incredibly unique. And it just clicked for me, and it worked for me on almost every level. If you don't like Surratt, that's fine. I mean, I even talked about in my podcast saying that there's people that have walked out on this film because if you're not on the film's wavelength by a certain point in the film, you're out of there. You're checked out. But that was not the case for me. It worked for me. It's amazing. It's my personal pick in the category. And it's a very strong category this year. My God. I mean, and No Other Choice isn't even here. I mean, it's crazy. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. 4 of these films, actually, you know what? 1, 2, 3 of these films are in my top 5 of the year. One of them is at number 6, and No Other Choice is my number 8 of the year. Very, very strong year for international films. Crazy. But I digress. I'm predicting Sentimental Value, Secret Agent, Possible Upset. Personal pick is Surratt. Let's move on. Best documentary feature. I have to admit, I have not seen any of the nominees. What are you doing, Oscar guy? I thought you were the Oscar guy. What the hell are you doing, man? Look, man, I've had, I've done my best. I've done my best in watching everything I need to, but I really dropped the ball in a documentary this year. Perfect Neighbors on Netflix. I have no excuse. I'm gonna watch it this weekend before the Oscars. I'm just gonna do it. I'll even watch it tonight. But I've heard great things about Perfect Neighbor, as well as Nobody Against Mr. Nobody Against Putin, and I mean all of these I've heard great things about. Stats wise, though, I mean, look at this, man. It's documentary feature is just so insane this year, and I'm so bad at predicting documentary feature anyway. But Perfect Neighbor has done well enough. It won the Critics' Choice for Doc. It won Indie Spirit, and that's pretty much it. But I mean, look, what else won? What did I not update this? Did it win PGA? I don't even remember, man. I'm not doing very. I apologize, everyone. I didn't do very good work in documentary. Um, I'm kind of just falling in line with this one, and I'm just gonna do a blind prediction and say The Perfect Neighbor. But no, Mr. Nobody Against Putin did win BAFTA, and this is not the first time that an anti-Russia, anti-Putin movie has gotten into the Oscars, and no less won, because Navalny won it a few years ago. So they could award this one again. But if anything's going to upset, it's going to be that one, I think. But perhaps The Perfect Neighbor can still pull this off. Again, I'm not very confident in it. I'm kind of just following the blind right now, or I'm the blind one following whatever. In any case, I'm predicting The Perfect Neighbor. Don't sue me. I'm sorry. I apologize. Let's move on. Documentary short. Okay. All the Empty Rooms. Same kind of deal. I did not update this to say I did see All the Empty Rooms and The Devil is Busy. But both are very good. But I think All the Empty Rooms easily had the most impact. Oh yeah, there's no precursors. A lot of people in Gold Derby are predicting this. And yeah, and it's just it's very impactful, and it clearly seems like something that could win this category. So I don't have a great case for this either. Shorts categories historically are very difficult to predict, but I'm going to go with All the Empty Rooms for a documentary short. Live action short. Okay, I have seen all of these. Okay, I've seen all the live action shorts. I've seen all the animated shorts. Okay, at least I did work there. Okay. So you could go a lot of different ways here in live action short. Precursors don't really matter right now. So the ones that I don't think have a shot of winning are Butcher Stain and Jane Austen's period drama. The ones that I think could have a shot are A Friend of Dorothy, which is kind of this very light and very funny, but also very sappy kind of short. Which it was fine, but it was a little too sappy and what's the word? We'll just stick with sappy for my taste. But I could see Oscar voters kind of digging that anyway, so maybe that can pull something off. The Singers is my personal pick. I do also really love Two People Exchanging Saliva. They're essentially tied, but if I had to pick, on a personal level to, not have both my personal pick and prediction be the same thing, I'll go with The Singers. I think The Singers has a good campaign from Netflix going on right now, so they're really pushing that. It has very good production values. It looks incredible. It's shot very well. It's very impactful. It's very short and sweet. It's like 12, 13 minutes long or something like that. I really enjoyed it. As far as like a message, there's not really like a message. It's pretty much just like about this dive bar filled with these dudes that try to outsing each other at the end of the day. But it's also very emotional and very, it's not the deepest film in the world, but it's very entertaining and it hits a spot. It hits a spot. Um, so maybe that could pull something off. I would love to see that win. But Two People Exchanging Saliva is definitely the longest short in this category. I think it's like 40 minutes or something like that. So it's kind of like a mini feature film in a way. Also beautifully shot. It's in black and white. A little abstract. Very fantastical and kind of set in like a dystopian future in a way. It's a gay love story. Um, Very French. But I think out of all of these shorts, this one definitely left the biggest impact for sure for me emotionally. And as far as the narrative is concerned, it was the most interesting. So I have a feeling that that could win. I think that's going to be my prediction for this category. Like I said, could go to the singers, could go to the Friend of Dorothy. If it goes to the other two, I'd be very shocked. But I'm going to lock in and I'm going to say Two People Exchanging Saliva for live action short. Next up, we'll get the shorts out of the way. Animated short. I have also seen all these, like I said. The ones I think the Three Sisters is probably the least likely to win. That one was fine. It was entertaining, but it didn't really like you don't really think about it that much after you've seen it. Forever Green is like the typical like Disney-esque short that is very cute and family friendly and kind of basic but enjoyable nonetheless. It's kind of just like a whatever animated film if you ask me. It looks fine, but it was okay. It was probably my least favorite in the category. Um, there was a time and place where films like those would win this category year after year, but I think this branch has gotten a little bit more adventurous in recent years, especially with last year with what's the one In the Shadow of the Cypress winning, which was my personal favorite in that category last year. I was so stoked to see that win. Nobody was predicting that to win. Um, they can really do anything in these shorts categories because I will say not all of these films are being seen by every Oscar voter. I will tell you that right now. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. So we can only go off of so much here. Um, so they have been a little bit more challenging. They've picked some more challenging films as of recently. So for Evergreen, I don't really see happening. I'd be pretty surprised. Girl Who Cried Pearls is fine. I didn't really respond to it that much, but it does look beautiful. It's stop motion. It has kind of like this storybook, like Tim Burton-esque, like storybook quality to it, which I think some Oscar voters will be really into. There are some people predicting that to win. I don't really see it. I will be less surprised if it wins instead of Forever Green. I will say that, but I am not predicting that. There's a lot of people predicting Butterfly to win, and Butterfly is beautiful. It's basically every frame is a painting. It is mind-blowingly beautiful, and the story is very good too. Um, it's based on a true story. I don't want to give it away, but it is. It definitely left an impact on me for sure. It's probably my second favorite, close second favorite in the category. And there's a lot of people predicting that one to win, and that would be on paper the one that makes the most sense. But I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna do something crazy here. Perhaps crazy. There's some people predicting this one, but not that many. I'm gonna go with Retirement Plan. It's definitely the shortest. It's like 7 minutes long, but it packs the most punch in my opinion, as far as its heart. the emotional level of it, and it is also very funny. Um, it really worked for me. It really, really worked for me, and I just have a feeling that Oscar voters, are going to single that one out. Um, I'm not completely 100% confident in that, but I'm going to go with that. And just because In the Shadow of the Cypress won last year, and that was my personal pick, I'm going to go with my personal pick again this year, even though I didn't predict Shadow of the Cypress last year. But you get what I mean. I'm going with my personal pick uh, as my prediction, and I'm going to go with Retirement Plan. It could very well be Butterfly, might be Girl Who Cried Pearls, but I'm going to go with Retirement Plan. That might be unwise, stat wise, but I just got a feeling. I'm going to go with my gut. My gut tells me Retirement Plan. All right, let's get into the technical categories. I just want to see if I am still recording. I am. Okay, original score. We didn't really need to talk about that. Sinners has demolished, brother. Absolutely demolished. Ludwig Göransson, he's going to win a third Oscar. That's crazy. He won just a couple years ago for Oppenheimer, and he's probably even going to be nominated, if not win, next year for The Odyssey. We'll see about that. But what I'm saying is he is our new Hans Zimmer. He is our new John Williams. He is just absolutely crushing every score that he does. And the center score is very, very good. It's very good. It's not my favorite in the category, but it is at the very least a solid score. And he has won everything he needs to. Swept all the precursors, almost completely swept the precursor tallies. There's no way he's not winning. He's getting his third Oscar. No ifs, ands, or buts. He's winning. My personal pick. Man, I was so happy to see Begonia nominated. Marty Supreme isn't nominated. That's a real shame. This branch doesn't like electronic music. They suck, but they don't suck because they nominated Begonia, and that was kind of on the chopping block for a little bit. It was not solidified that it was going to get into the Oscars, but it did. Driskin Fendrix. I mean, I've only listened to 2 scores of his. The Poor Thing score is, if you ask me, on the level of One Battle. That's just me. Begonia's score is right up my alley. It's orchestral. It's and I like understated scores too. The Year of the Babylon score, which is a great score, unquestionably. The Year of the Babylon score, my favorite score of that year was Banshees of Inisherin by Carter Burwell. Very meditative and slower and more somber, understated score than Babylon, clearly. So, it just depends. I have an ear for a lot of different colors and textures and stuff like that. So, Begonia absolutely is the most adventurous and the most avant-garde of these scores, even more so than Johnny Greenwood with the prepared piano stuff. It's crazy. It's a wild score. It's comparable to like the Stravinsky The Rite of Spring, which is one of my favorite musical pieces ever. So of course Begonia is right up my alley. Of course Begonia is my personal pick. Okay. So yeah, that's my personal pick. Frankenstein's score is fine. Hamnet's score is fine. One Battle score is fantastic. If Sinners wasn't nominated here, I think One Battle will be walking away with this. Yeah, Sinners is gonna clean house in this category. Original song. I don't know if we need to talk about this. I'm not gonna say that I Lied to You has a 0% chance to win here. Especially if Sinners is going to win more Oscars than I'm even predicting. I think there's a small chance that it could upset here in kind of the same fashion that it has a chance to win in Best Picture against One Battle. Golden has won at both of the precursors in original song, and it's Golden. I mean, if you go out into the public, chances are 8 times out of 10 you're going to hear the song at least once. It's everywhere. It was nominated for Song of the Year. It's huge. It has like over 1 billion streams on Spotify and YouTube Music. Like it is such a juggernaut of a song. For it to lose would mean that Sinners is going to have a night. For them to choose that over Golden, that would be pretty insane. I'm not saying it's impossible, given Sinner's strength, but I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna say Golden. Like it's gotta be happening, right? It's gotta be happening. But if there's a number two, it's absolutely I lied to you. Train Dreams, Sweet Dreams of Joy, not gonna happen. Diane Warren, once again, is gonna go home empty-handed. And I don't know what to tell you, Diane. I don't. At least you're getting nominated every year. Okay, can you be content for once? Um, maybe one year, maybe 1 year she'll write a song for a Marvel movie, and that'll be Oscar win. But not this year. Um, gonna prep to see her face when she loses on Oscar night. Um, to Golden. Golden's my prediction. I lied to you is my personal pick. I did listen to all five of these in one sitting to kind of assess what my personal pick is. I lied to you is look, Golden's a good song. I'm not saying it's a bad song. I'm not a K-pop fan, you know, but Golden's not a bad song. It's solid. It's a solid song. It's overplayed, and there are other songs. I can name at least two other songs in K-pop Demon Hunters that are better than Golden. But it's a good song. I'm not saying it's a bad song. I think it's solid. But I lied to you um, is great. It's not. It's more than just a song. I think it is. It's kind of like a piece of storytelling in the form of a song. And I know that that could be most songs in existence. But you know what I mean. If you've listened to the song, you kind of understand. The song itself, harmonically, is pretty simple. It kind of lays on one chord and one riff pretty much the entire time. But as far as texture and timbre, it goes to so many different places as far as like genre and, like I said, texture, and tempi, like tempo, rhythmic feel really fluctuates a lot over the course of this kind of droning, like ostinato based kind of concept, It's very interesting. It is the most interestingly constructed song by far in this category. Um, and Miles Caton can play that damn guitar, and he can sing with those pipes. Um, so that's my personal favorite in the category. It's a great song. I think I don't even think that's the best song in Sinners. I think Last Time I Seen the Sun is a better song, if you ask me. Um, but that's neither here nor there. That's my favorite in the category. Golden, I think, is going to win. That's my prediction. Okay. Best casting, the new category this year. Sinners has got to be walking away with this. It won Critics' Choice. It did win SOG Ensemble, that I do have to update. Was BAFTA longlisted, missed at BAFTA. And the casting director for Sinners, I forget her name, but she is a legend in the industry. If this was a category already, 10 years ago, she would have not only multiple nominations, but probably multiple wins to her name. So that has a big factor to do with it. It's not a complete lock because, again, we don't really know what this category is yet. Are they going to fall in line, best casting as far as like the casting director and how the film is cast, or are they going to go more on the lines of, the best ensemble, the best performances, or is it going to be a combination of both? Or does best casting have any particular correlation to the acting categories or the best picture category? We don't know yet. Even after our winner this year, we're only going to have one winner to go off of. So give it maybe 2 or 3 years, and then we'll really fully know what this category is all about. But for right now, I'm going to go with Sinners. My personal pick in the category. I mean, the casting, is great in all of these. Hamnet, pretty good casting. We got Jesse Buckley and the Jupe brothers, Emily Watson, Paul Mescal, pretty good casting. One Battle After Another with Leo and Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, like coming out of nowhere and giving a great performance. Tiana Taylor, and Chase Infinity, the newcomer performance, almost getting an Oscar nomination. Wonderful, wonderful casting. The Secret Agents casting, very unique, very eclectic, with not only Wagner Moura, but you got Tanya Maria and the huge cast of characters in that film. I don't even know where to begin with all of the cast. Like, that is such a great ensemble film. So great nomination as well. But my personal pick is Marty Supreme. And if you've listened to my podcast recently, I'm not the biggest fan of Marty Supreme. I think it's a good movie. I think it's very well made, but I didn't love it. I'm not really a safety film kind of guy. I'm not really into the whole stress movie thing. It just didn't resonate with me as much as I wanted it to. I thought Timmy was great. And like I said, the crafts were very impressive, very well directed, very well edited. Great score, but not really my thing, personally. But even then, I think the casting is unbelievable. I think it should be walking away with this award. As far as merit, I think the casting is unbelievable. You got Timmy. You got Gwyneth Paltrow with a comeback performance. You got the newcomer Odessa Zion crushing it. You got Tyler, the Creator, giving a really good performance. And then you got Kevin O'Leary basically playing himself. Then you got all these other characters that aren't even like professional actors, and they're crushing it, dude. The most impressive casting, by far, in my opinion, should be walking away with this award, if you ask me. Crazy casting. Absolutely crazy casting. But I digress. I think Sinners is going to walk away with this one, with Sinners being Sinners, with Michael B. Jordan with the dual performances, with the newcomer Wumi Masaku, with Delroy Lindo, with Jack O'Connell, Haley Steinfeld, Miles Caton, another crazy newcomer performance, like Lee Jun Lee. Who am I missing? A few others. Great casting, wonderful casting. So that's my prediction. Moving on to some of these technical categories. Now, best sound. Best sound's a little bit up in the air. Best sound's a little up in the air. Okay, so let's look at some of these precursors. F1 got BAFTA. It got CAS. But at MPSC, they gave effects Foley to Frankenstein over F1 and Sinners. And then Sinners picked up MPSC dialogue and ADR and music. So, like, what's going on there, right? I think we can throw the Frankenstein one away. I'm not saying it has a 0% chance to win Best Sound. I think the sound work is very solid in Frankenstein. Same thing with Sinners. I think the sound work in Sinners is great. In fact, it was my personal pick in the category until I saw Surratt. So throw that away. But I think I'm going to stick with F1 because they like the car vroom vroom movies. And I hear that the sound is very good. So it's my prediction. Stat-wise, it makes sense. I could see Sinners upsetting in this category, especially if it has a big haul at the Oscars. It really is. I mean, if you ask me, it is kind of 50-50 in a way. And I don't know. If you're predicting Sinners, it would make perfect sense. So I'm thinking, should I predict Sinners for Best Sound over F1? I might have to crunch my numbers on that a little bit more. I haven't really done enough research to be completely confident in F1. So I may or may not be doing a last minute change in this category. So stay tuned for that. Um, I'll be updating you guys on any last minute change ups in my predictions on Oscar night before the ceremony, because I'm going to be going through my predictions once again before the Oscars during my live stream, by the way. I'll be live streaming my reactions and commentary to the Oscars in real time. Hope to see you there. But before the ceremony starts, I'm going to go through my predictions and I'm going to mention any categories I did last minute switches in. So, but anyway, I think for right now, I'm going to go with F1. Sinners, absolutely possible for it to upset. Um, but my personal pick in the category is Seurat. And all I'm going to say about that is if you've seen it, you know. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, now you know. Seurat has incredibly strong sound work, incredibly strong score that is kind of in correlation with its sound work. Such a cool nomination, and just because it's here, I'm gonna give it a personal pick in sound. So for right now, F1 might change, might not. We shall see. Production design. Frankenstein has cleaned house. It has cleaned house. The only thing it didn't win was ADG Contemporary, but everywhere else it's been nominated, it has swept. I don't really see it going anywhere else. The last time this happened, where it swept at the guilds and then lost the Oscar, was Babylon, which lost to All Quiet on the Western Front. Mixed feelings about that, especially being a fan of Babylon. But Frankenstein is in Babylon. Frankenstein is much stronger than Babylon as far as nominations, as far as its strength. So I don't really see that happening. If there's any runner-up, I guess it would be Sinners. If Sinners really, really cleaned house, maybe it could pick this one up too. It's certainly possible. But with the strength that Frankenstein has had in this category, it's hard for me to do that. So I'm going to rely on stats, and I'm going to say Frankenstein. And it's my personal pick too. Clearly very strong. Clearly very strong production design work. Cinematography. This has also been a sweep. A very surprising sweep, no less. Because yes, it did win. It did lose Critics' Choice to Train Dreams, and Sinners racked up the most critics tallies. Once the guild started coming along, it got BSC, ASC, and BAFTA. If you win those three, you are pretty much locked for an Oscar win. I've learned recently that the only film to do that, to win all three of these precursors and lose the Oscar, is The Man Who Wasn't There. Way back in like 2001, it lost to Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring, I believe. So it's been over 20 years. How long ago was that? 2001. It's about 25 years. 25 years. Crazy. So yeah, I don't think it's possible for it to lose. I don't think it's possible for it to lose. If it does lose to Sinners, I'd be pretty shocked. But I think One Battle is locked for this one after those three precursor wins. This is a very strong category. Fantastic cinematography all around in all of these films. Frankenstein, Marty Supreme. Sinners actually it's a very close second. There are some shots in Sinners that are pretty incredible. The aspect ratio changes. Very strong work. Very, very strong work. I've heard some complaints about like the lighting, and it doesn't really bother me that much, but I get it. I understand. It's a very dark looking film as far as lighting, but very good work all around. Train Dreams, excellent cinematography. In fact, as far as like composition, from a compositional standpoint, from a framing standpoint, symmetrical standpoint, it could be the most tasteful in that regard. It as if like every frame is kind of like a painting in a way. beautiful, luscious cinematography in Train Dreams. And it kind of shocks me that it hasn't won more this year. But one battle after another, man, I've seen it 4 times at this point. And every time I look at it, I'm like, this is a beautiful looking film. And I think a lot of that has to do with the VistaVision format. Very wide frame, like a lot of detail, a lot of color. I don't know if it's saturated or not, but I don't really know a lot about cinematography as far as technical standpoint. But it's a beautiful looking film with the ocean waves, asphalt waves seen at the very end with all of that is incredible. There's a shot near the beginning where Leo's character is like running down a hill with like the border, like the U.S. Mexico border, like up here with the light. It's a breathtaking shot. And there's some other very incredible shots. Close up shots are very nice on Sean Penn's carrot looking ass face. um, Chase Infinity's close ups, Leo's close ups. Um, the slow zoom, dolly zoom. I don't know if it's a dolly zoom or not, but it's like a zoom in on Benicio del Toro dancing on the side of the street. I could go on. A lot of brilliant shots in that film. It looks beautiful. VistaVision all the way. It's my personal pick. I think it inched out. Makeup and hair. Frankenstein is walking away with this for sure. I don't think there's even a second place. Maybe you could say Sinners. Maybe has a small shot to upset. But again, as far as prosthetics, they love prosthetics. This guild or this branch. I think Frankenstein's got this one in the bag. Sinners maybe could upset, but it's I don't know. If you want to predict Sinners, by all means, that'll make sense. But as far as stats are concerned, I think Frankenstein's got this one as well. Costume design. Sinners definitely could upset here as well. But again, look, it's Frankenstein has cleaned house in every guild. In every guild, it has cleaned house. Every precursor, rather. At the CDG Guild, it won CDG period, and historically, the Oscars have gone with period costumes above anything else. Historically. So, and then, Sinners is also period as well. So I'm not saying it's a 0% chance for that to win, but the costume work in Frankenstein is arguably more impressive, more showy, more flashier. Um, I think that might be happening. So that's my personal pick. Actually, no. My personal pick is Sinners. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, Frankenstein's really strong. Just to be different, I'll go with Sinners. It's great. The I lied to you scene with all the eclectic costumes. Okay, that's my that's my reason. Just to be different, I'm gonna go with Sinners as my personal pick, but my prediction, I'm gonna stick with Frankenstein. Film editing. I think One Battle's got this one in the bag. If it's going to be winning Best Picture, I think it's going to be winning. It won Ace Eddie. It won BAFTA. I'm not saying that Sinners has a 0% chance. If Sinners does win editing, watch out for Best Picture. That's all I'm going to have to say. So that's clearly a second place. Clearly a third place, I think, is F1. That did win Critics' Choice, but that has by far the least amount of weight as far as the editing category is concerned. So I'm not worried about that at all. Marty Supreme sentimental value is not going to happen. I think it's going to go to One Battle. My personal pick in the category, as great as the editing is in One Battle, it's a close second for me. I really love the editing in sentimental value. Absolutely. I think a lot of the film's strength is in the editing. Cuts to different characters' faces and reactions, really carries a lot of emotional and narrative depth to the film. A lot of the montage sequences are really cool, especially near the beginning of the film. The cuts to black, I think, are very effective. It's very tasteful, very tasteful work as far as editing. That's my personal pick. My predictions won battle. Visual effects, we don't need to talk about this. Sure, Sinners is in second place, but Avatar is Avatar. Avada is Avada. I didn't update this spreadsheet, but it did win VES, won BAFTA, won Critics' Choice. It's Avatar. Do I need to say it again? Unless the Academy is like over the whole Avatar thing, and then they wanted to give it to something else, but I don't see it happening. I think Avatar's walking away with this anyway. It was nominated for costume design after all, so like there you go. My personal pick is Sinners. There's some very tasteful and very effective visual effects in Sinners, absolutely, in my opinion. That's my personal pick, and those are going to be my predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Good Lord, we made it. We made it. My God. Do I feel good about my predictions? As good as I'll ever feel, guys. As good as I'll ever feel about my predictions. It's tough. It's a really tough year. So I wish everyone luck in their predictions. We'll get through this. In any case, if you get some categories wrong, I know I'm going to get some categories wrong. That's not why we're here at the end of the day. And if it is why you're here, that's fine. But I'm just along for the ride. I'm just having fun. I love all of these films. I don't know where I'm going with this. What I'm saying is that no matter what happens on Oscar night, I love doing this, and I love hanging out, and I love giving this content to you guys. So thank you guys for watching, sticking through this season with me. As absent as I have been a little bit this season. So in any case, I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for sticking with me, for sticking around. Give a like, leave a comment, give a sub, and come hang out with me on Oscar night. I'm going to be doing a live stream of the ceremony, not the ceremony itself, but only my live reactions and commentary of the ceremony. So come hang out. Come swing by and chat. It's going to be a party. It's one of my favorite nights of the year, hands down. It's all of our Super Bowls. And yeah, I will see you then, Sunday, around 6:30, 7, somewhere around there. I'll be going live. I'll be posting a short announcing my official date. So stay tuned for that. Until then, good luck, everybody, with your predictions. I'll catch you all on the flip. Oscar Guy is out. Peace out, y'all.